Next is Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, finally returning to the series I started the show with. I'm playing this on the Castlevania Anniversary Collection on Switch. 7 years after killing Dracula in the first game, turns out Dracula cursed Simon Belmont just before his death. If Simon doesn't revive Dracula, he'll die. Plus, Dracula's minions have been out and about Transylvania again, so Simon sets off to collect the pieces of Dracula's body to revive him and kill him again. This is not my first attempt at recording the game. The night before I went for a 100% run with the best ending, became unable to reach 100% and then rage quit and rage deleted the footage. This is my second attempt from the morning after. We start in the town Jova. There are NPCs to talk to, and of course this game is the first of the series to be more like the later Metroidvania types. Other than that, the controls are the same as the first. Jump, whip, sub-weapon and the stairs are a pain. I go in one house and buy the Holy Water sub-weapon for 50 hearts. Hearts now the currency rather than the ammo they were in the previous game. This also means I have free unlimited use of the Holy Water from the beginning. I then leave town to the east. There are two enemies at the beginning here, a wolf and a skeleton. I kill them, pick up the hearts they leave and walk back and forth respawning them. There's an in-game clock and a day-night cycle. When it hits night, I return to the town to find zombies walking around at night. I head up to the top level and walk back and forth farming hearts. Now I have to be quick if I want to get the best ending and 100% because I have to also beat the game in 7 in-game days or less. By morning I have 136 hearts. I leave town again and farm a little more until I have 150 hearts. During this I level up to level 1 for all the enemies I killed. With the hearts I go back into Jova and buy a white crystal for 50 hearts. One NPC gives a hint about the future with a ferryman loving garlic. In one of the houses here I trade 100 hearts for a stronger fawn whip. I once again leave town to the east, but this time I keep going. The rest of this screen is more skeletons. The next screen has a bridge over the water with those dickhead fishmen from the first game popping out. On the next screen I take the other path and just as I reach the end, it becomes night again. Next screen I ignore the stairs going down and keep going east to the next screen. One more screen east to find the first mansion of the game, Berkeley Mansion. I already had the white crystal equipped which makes this blue platform appear so I can progress. There's a knight up top but my fawn whip has better range than his lance. I walk along, go up some stairs, kill my first gargoyle and jump up some more platforms. I go right, kill the slime jumping from the ceiling, jump over the spikes and holy water the wall to find my first clue. It says, a symbol of evil will appear when you strike the stake. I then backtrack and take the stairs up. And up here I walk back and forth, killing enemies until I get enough hearts. You can't grind all the way up to max level at the beginning of the game. Every new mansion you enter ups your level cap by 1. It's best to get half farming done in mansions too if you're going for the best ending, since time is frozen in them. The first block of the next floor is actually fake, so you'll have to jump over it. At the end I go down 2 sets of stairs. At the other end of this floor I go up 2 more to find an old man who sells me an oak stake for 50 hearts. Behind him I holy water away another wall for another clue. Destroy the curse and you'll rule Bram's mansion. I backtrack and go down more stairs, go to the end of this floor and holy water another wall for the last clue here. A flame flickers inside the ring of fire. I go down another set of stairs and holy water the ground to figure out which floor tile is a fake and jump over it. Up the next set of stairs is a glowing orb. I throw the oak stake at it to reveal the part of Dracula's body. I now possess Dracula's rib. When equipped it gives Simon a shield when he isn't walking or attacking. After that I just make my way out. From the entrance I backtrack west 2 screens and go down this long staircase. Going east here brings me to the town Veros. It's still night so I just hang around killing zombies until morning. I first go inside the church for a free full heal. I go into the house in the far west of town and holy water through the wall to find a secret room. The man in there sells me a dagger for 50 hearts. It works just as it did in the first game, but I prefer to stick with the holy water. On the far east is a house where I holy water through the floor to find an old man at the bottom who sells me a stronger chain whip for 150 hearts. I then exit town east into this cave area, where an eyeball knocks me back to the town. When I try again I make it to the other side and climb up several sets of stairs to go east to another screen. When I drop down to the lower floor I holy water through the bottom platforms and do the same with the western wall to find the sacred flame. I then head east where I meet the spiders. These are the biggest pains so far with their quick web shots. Once again I go east to the next screen. I ignore the stairs and go east 2 more screens to reach the town of Algiba. I enter the first house, holy water through the floor and buy some garlic from the man at the bottom for 50 hearts. At the end of town I go up some stairs, enter another house, holy water through another floor and enter another room to buy some laurels, but I find I'm 10 hearts short. As soon as I leave the house it turns to night, so I take the time to do some farming. During this I reach level 2, getting my long needed heal and a bit of extra health. Once it becomes day again I talk to this guy in the top left of the screen to exchange my white crystal for a blue crystal. I then buy those laurels and leave town to the east. This screen is a cemetery with zombie hands coming out of the ground. First thing I do is throw some garlic to the ground to make a man appear who gives me a silver knife. Then I start backtracking west. This is one of the big complaints people have with this game, the cryptic stuff. I can't really disagree on some of it being bullshit, but the thing is, I already knew most of this stuff ahead of time from the amount of people complaining about them. So I didn't have that experience of frustration because I already knew. I don't think it's an especially bad case though, no more how am I supposed to know this without a guide than the original Zelda. I backtrack 3 screens and go down those stairs I skipped. Going east leads me to another cave. I hang along the top of the screen and go east again. This leads to another cryptic thing I knew ahead of time thanks to the complaints. I equip the blue crystal and crouch. This slightly lowers the screen and I can keep moving downwards and east to the second mansion, Rover Mansion. I start by going up the stairs right in front of me and then following the floor to the right. Here I once again walk back and forth farming hearts for a while. When I get closer to 50 I keep going right. I jump up some platforms, drop down and jump through a fake wall to the next screen. I jump across some pace and walk past the stairs, jump over the moving blocks and take the bottom path to buy another rogue steak from the old man. I then jump too early and die falling in the water. Game's very generous with its checkpoints though and restarts me at where I jumped from. I take the upper path, avoid some fake floor tiles and holy water the wall at the end for the first clue, destroy the curse with Dracula's heart. I return to the stairs I walked past and go up all 3 sets. I drop down some platforms and go up more stairs, do some slightly tricky jumping to get even higher, then at the right end, holy water the wall for the second and last clue here. This one says, Garlic in the graveyard summoned a stranger. Already done that. Then it's down some stairs and a big drop to find the orb, throw a stake here and pick up Dracula's heart. After that it's an uneventful journey out. From the mansion I go west, up the stairs and west again where I walk right into water and die. I then go west once more, up the stairs and west again where it turns to night again. I go west twice more to return to the cave east of Veros. I sit on the top floor and keep going west through this screen and the next 7 screens to return to Jova, where I started the game. Here I go through the west exit to a screen filled with fireball spitting 2-headed creatures and wolves. I reach this pink lake and use a laurel to make myself temporarily invincible so I can walk through it without taking damage and ignore the mudmen. On the next screen I equip Dracula's heart and talk to the man on the boat so he'll set off. During this it becomes day again. I go west 1 more screen to reach the 3rd mansion, Bram Mansion. First thing I do is walk right onto the spikes and die, getting me a game over. Game overs take away all hearts and experience points you have. Good thing I'm in a place time doesn't pass so I can easily get them all back without it being too much an inconvenience. I head right to a wall and go up 3 sets of stairs, then go left a little and up 2 more. Here is the spot I choose for grinding to the next level and heart farming. It takes about 5 minutes to reach level 3 and in that time I got 256 hearts. But it's 2 more sets of stairs. I then go right to the next screen. Here I deal with a couple more gargoyles and go down the stairs to the bottom. I holy water the right wall for the first clue. Wait for a saw with a red crystal on Debra Cliff. I then go through the exit on the left to another screen. Right across from this entrance is the old man selling the oak steak, so I buy one. Then comes even more sets of stairs and another exit at the bottom on the right. A short tunnel with 3 bats leads to death. After the nightmare death was in the first game, him being so pathetic here was very cathartic. I just trap him with the sacred flame and keep spamming until he's dead. You don't even have to fight him, you could just keep walking and pass under him. When he dies he leaves behind a golden knife. In the next room is the orb. I stake it and now I possess Dracula's eyeball. It reveals the clues hidden in the walls, like this one in the top left corner of the first screen. I holy water to it and it says, place the laurels in a silk bag to bring them to life. On the way out I fall through a fake floor tile and die right in front of the exit. From the mansion entrance I go west. On this screen I have many moving blocks to navigate, and the jump is still the same fixed distance with no air control from the first game, so you still have to commit. Some of these are quite tight, you have to be essentially floating off the edge to make the jump, but I make it across with little trouble. Next screen has the return of the mummies and those bastard eagles, along with the new pirate skeletons, the man-eating plants and the return of the Medusa heads. At the far end of this screen is an old man who gives me a diamond. Now to fight through all that again on the way back, and do the blocks in reverse. I inch too far in the second one and die. Then I balls up the very last jump and game over again. That's all those hearts picked up in Bram Mansion gone. I make it next time and go back into the mansion to get those hearts back in a place time doesn't pass. 7 minutes later I have 220. From the mansion I head east and ride the boat back the way I came. During this it shifts to night. Once he drops me off I unequip Dracula's heart and get back on. This time he takes me to the town Alba. Now there's a night of mine here but it's just turned night, so I have to lose a lot of time towards that best ending and wait the night out. During the day I talk to this guy to swap my blue crystal for a red crystal. I then leave town to the west. This screen brings back the dragon bones from the first game. Thankfully the dragon towers are nowhere to be seen in this game. West again and I go down the stairs and go west again. At the far end of this screen I use some garlic to summon another old man who gives me a silk bag. Backtracking through that screen was harder than going through it the first way, so I just use a laurel and skip all that. But I fucked up and couldn't get through this damaging pink water without dying because of my low health. I then go back up the stairs and take the top west exit. Next screen has just slimes and I reach the town of Ondal. I go up the stairs and into the first open house I find, holy water through 2 walls, then find an old man who sells me some more laurels. Then as I leave the house it becomes night again. Cue 3 minutes of just standing and waiting outside the next door I need. In this house I drop down to the bottom and go to the next room for another guy who sells me my next whip upgrade, the Morning Star, for 200 hearts. I then leave town to the west. This Morning Star is really useful, taking out most of the enemies in one hit. I have more of these blocks to jump across before I finally reach the far left of this screen. I equip Dracula's Eye to find a clue saying, Dracula's nail may solve the evil mystery. I then equip the red crystal and crouch down to summon a tornado to take me to a new area. Another infamously cryptic moment I knew for over a decade before even playing this. This is actually why I rage quit my first attempt. You can't backtrack from this new area and I missed the Morning Star. The tornado drops me off right outside the 4th mansion, Bodley Mansion. Right away I get to grinding here. 6 minutes later I reach level 4. I go up the 4 sets of stairs and keep going right, then jump through a fake wall at the end to reach the next screen. I drop down 2 floors, taking out the skeletons in my way, then keep going right, holy watering through a wall. I keep going and go up some stairs, then go left to holy water a wall to find the only clue here, the curse has killed the laurel tree. I then go down 2 sets of stairs and jump through a fake wall on the left to find the stake cellar. I then drop through a fake floor tile and drop down again to the bottom floor here. Then just a little to the right is the orb that I stake to get Dracula's nail. Just one more piece left. From the mansion entrance I go west, then through an empty screen. This leads to another lake that I then equip a crystal and crouch at to lower the screen. Going down and west takes me to this dungeon looking screen. I climb up the platforms and holy water through a wall to meet the ghost, or skull, whatever they call it in this game. Flying enemies are always the worst. I drop down and holy water through another wall to find a guy who will upgrade my Morning Star into a flame whip, the strongest whip in the game. I climb back up to the spot I dropped from and keep moving left. The west exit takes me back outside where I have to jump across more blocks. It turns to night here. The screen has more pink water I have to cross through, so I have to use both my laurels, and they don't last long enough to keep me safe the entire way. But west of that is the 5th and final mansion, Laruba Mansion, and once again I start grinding first thing. Another 6 minutes and I'm maxed out at level 5, or so I think. I continue right, then go up the first set of stairs I see and go left to another set. I ignore the next set and go right. I pass the next set of stairs too and jump across some platforms to reach the next screen. I finally try out the diamond here. It shoots straight diagonally down. I go up the stairs and then right by the last oak stake I need from the old man. Then up more stairs and right some more, followed by dropping down many floors until I reach the bottom right corner of this screen. This leads to the second boss, Carmilla. She fires fireballs straight down that then split off into 5. But the shield from Dracula's rib deals with that. When she starts spinning around, I start spamming the golden knife to pin her in place and keep whipping her until she's dead. She drops the magic cross. And in the next screen is the orb where I get the final piece of Dracula's remains, his ring. On the way out is an old man who gives me 8 laurels for free. I'm gonna need them. I also buy another oak stake. I don't need them anymore, I just wanted to fill the empty spot left on my inventory screen when I used my last one. It's also at this point I notice I'm still getting experience despite being what I thought was the max level. So I spend a few more minutes grinding until I reach level 6, the true max level. Now look at that elf bar going halfway down the screen. From the mansion entrance, I backtrack east 3 screens. On the way back, I find the final clue using Dracula's Eye. It says, Dracula's evil knife blurs Camilla's vision. Bit late for that. That's also the last thing to pick up in the game. On the dungeon screen, I fuck up and throw myself into the water and die. From here, I backtrack all the way to the 4th mansion entrance. I then start travelling east. Here I meet the last new enemy, the Birdman. It also becomes day. I'm on day 7 now. I must beat the game before this day is over to get the best ending. East of this screen is the town of Doina. What's in here? No time to check, just barging through. Another screen with both moving blocks and fishmen jumping out of the water. Next screen is in the forest with more pink water to get through. On the next screen I take the stairs down and keep going east. This is the final town, Yomi. Once again I ignore everything and keep moving forward, although apparently there's nothing here anyway. East of that I'm jumping over the gravestones and in the screen after I need to holy water a wall so I can start crossing this bridge. It's quite long and I start cacking myself, worried I might have to replay the entire game if I don't hurry up. The next screen takes me back to Castlevania. After Simon made the place crumble in the last game, it's still a mess. No enemies here either. I holy water through the floor to start going down some stairs and navigate a very basic sort of maze of stairs and blocks. This leads to the final room where I place all 5 pieces of Dracula to resurrect him. I spam the whip and sacred flame while he teleports around a bit. He gets a couple projectiles out, but I kill him really quick. Fastest boss kill in the game. I then pick up the heart at the end to finish this. First, the other 2 endings. The bad ending, for beating the game in over 15 days, has everything happy and Simon will always be remembered. Bad ending. The normal ending, for finishing between 8 and 14 days, has Simon be too late in killing Dracula. He dies from his wounds after the fight. This is somehow a better result than the bad ending. The best ending once again confirms that Simon has defeated Dracula. but shows a hand emerge from his grave. I guess it's the best ending because it confirms the series will continue. That's Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, and here's the first truly controversial thing I'm going to say in this show. I enjoyed it more than the first game. Sure, if you were being so-called objective about it, I'd say the first is a better game, but as I said all the way back in my first episode when I did the first Castlevania, this is a purely subjective based show, and I enjoyed this game more. Don't worry, I'll have plenty of boring common opinions later down the line. For one thing, there was no stage 4 and 5 equivalent to drag the fun down. The blending of Castlevania and Metroid led to something I liked a little more than the original Castlevania, and far more than the original Metroid. Whether this means I'm going to generally enjoy this style of Castlevania game over the classic style, I can't say yet. I guess we'll see.